Today, I want to talk with you about how to use these AI tools in a smart way because they are really powerful. AI has come an enormous way in the last 24 months. It's not just writing blog posts or captions anymore, it's now generating full video content. The real purpose of content isn't just to share information. If that's all that patients needed, then Google would be all that we'd need. They just Google their health concerns and they'd never bother to actually call us. The real purpose of content is to build trust before the patient ever walks in the door. What really grows a practice and what really is effective marketing isn't just polished content, it's connection, it's authenticity. And if patients feel like they already know you, they will want to stay with you, and no AI will ever be able to replace that. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Marketing Your Practice podcast, the podcast where I have the pleasure of simplifying the marketing and the mindset so you, the chiropractor, can increase your income, your impact, and your enjoyment in practice too. Now, you've probably noticed that everywhere that you look, there's talk about AI. Tools like ChatGPT can write your blog posts, your social media captions, even your video scripts. And honestly, they do it frighteningly fast and they do a pretty damn good job of it as well. But here's the catch. When you hand all of your content over to AI, you risk losing the very thing that makes people want to work with you in the first place, and that is your voice. It's your voice, your authenticity that builds trust. So today, I want to talk with you about how to use these AI tools in a smart way because they are really powerful. They'll save you an enormous amount of time. But the trick is learning how to do it in a way that supports you without it ever replacing you. So here's what we're going to cover in today's episode. First, we'll have a brief look at the current landscape of AI and why video in particular is absolutely changing the game. Then we'll talk about the risks of losing your authentic voice and how this can hurt ultimately your conversion retention, which is the end game that we actually want. I'll share some of the key distinctions between delegation and abdication and why this really matters in particular for your marketing. And finally, I'm going to walk you through a simple 4-step framework using AI so that it never actually loses your authenticity. So let's take a look at the current landscape. AI has come an enormous way in the last 24 months in a really short time. It's not just writing blog posts or captions anymore. It's now generating full video content, and it's getting really, really good. There are companies out there right now offering to create an entire year's worth of video content for you without you ever having to step in front of the camera. They'll write the scripts, you turn up. And as I mentioned beforehand, for many of you, this is going to sound like a dream. Now, whilst at the moment, I think I can still pick most of the time when the content is generated by AI, but it's only a matter of time where it'll be imperceivable. Like there'll be no difference between you actually shooting the video or me this now, and I can have AI do the same thing. Now, on the surface, I get it. This sounds like an absolute dream. Imagine never having to worry about filming, editing, what to say next, and just hand out your entire content calendar over and it's done. But here's the risk. When all of your content is created this way, it might look polished, but it doesn't sound like you. And I don't mean just the voice and the tone and stuff like that. Patients don't just connect with information, they connect with personality, they connect with authenticity, with your quirks, with your stories. And if that's missing, you end up with lots of content, but you end up with very little connection. So yes, AI video is incredibly powerful and it's only going to get better. There's no doubt about that. But as chiropractors, we need to be really careful about that convenience, that it doesn't cost us the one thing that truly sets us apart, and that is our authentic selves. So let's talk about the risk of losing our voice. Now, here's the thing about content. The real purpose of content isn't just to share information. If that's all that patients needed, then Google would be all that we'd need. They just Google their health concerns and they'd never bother to actually call us. The real purpose of content, is to build trust before the patient ever walks in the door. But if the content that you're putting out there isn't really you and doesn't actually sound like your voice, there's no ownership, there's no personality, there's no authentic voice, then people aren't building trust with you, they're building trust with AI, okay? And here's why this is a problem, okay? When they finally come in to see you, there will be a disconnect. The person they thought they were getting to know online isn't the same person they're getting to meet when they come into your office. And this disconnect is going to show up in two critical places. First, your conversion, and second is your retention. If patients don't feel aligned with you from the start, they're less likely to start care, and if they do start, they're less likely to stay. You can think of it a little bit like dating. If you sent somebody else out on all of your first dates, they told all your stories, they had all the conversations on your behalf, they built the connection. But by the time you actually showed up, the relationship would already be built with the other person. And that, of course, is never going to end well. And this is what happens when your content isn't really yours. It might look polished, it might even get attention, but the trust is going to the wrong place. So let's talk a little bit about abdication versus delegation. One of the biggest mistakes I see chiropractors make, not just in their marketing, but in their practice as a whole, is confusing delegation with abdication. When we delegate, we still own the outcome. We give responsibility to somebody else, but we stay involved. We give direction. We make sure that it's aligned with a vision and our values. That's really healthy leadership, and we want to become experts at delegation. But when we abdicate, we just hand it off and we walk away. Like, here we go, I want 100 videos, and there they are in my inbox, in my Google Drive the next day. And that's when things go off the rails. In marketing, abdication almost always means losing your voice. Now, I'm working with a chiropractor at the moment whose social media was stunning. It was resulting in 70% of her new patients were coming from her social media. And it was taking her an enormous amount of time and effort. So she decided to work with an agency so that she could not delegate it. She ended up abdicating it to them. And in a matter of months, it went from 70% of her new patients to just 4% of her new patients. Now, when you're outsourcing your information to an agent, your content to an agency or to AI, they're doing all the talking for you. And you're going to risk losing your voice there. The message is going to go out, but it's not really going to be yours, okay? So the danger is when you abdicate, you save yourself time in the short term, but you lose trust, you lose consistency, and you lose control in the long term. And ultimately, that's going to cost you in patience. Remember, the long-term goal that we have with our content creation, with our marketing, is to create long-term loyal advocates. So let's transition now into how can we use AI without losing authenticity. Step number one is to use AI to help you with that blank page syndrome. The hardest part often of content creation is just getting started, and AI can be brilliant in helping you brainstorm ideas, outline key points, or draft something rough so you're not staring into an empty page. In fact, what I often do is I come up with an idea, but I'm a little bit unsure of the structure of it. And so my favorite thing to do is to actually talk to AI, or ChatGPT is the tool that I'll use. And for this very episode, I sat down to begin with and I had a discussion with ChatGPT saying, here's where I see the risks of AI content. Here's the challenges we want to overcome. I talked about delegation and abdication. I talked about the metaphor of the dating, those type of things there too. And then ChatGPT kind of helped me to organize that information. But authentically, it was all my voice. So we want to use it in this initial stage here to help bring some structure or to help move you past the blank page. Step two is that you need to personalize and own it. Never just copy and paste what AI gives you. Go through and adjust the language so that it sounds like you. Add your personality, add your phrases, add things in the way that you would naturally explain them if they were talking to a patient into your practice. Step number three is, when possible, make sure that you're adding in your stories. This is a really big one. Patients connect through stories, and AI is, well, one day it might know your stories. We might be able to download them in there. But at the moment, your stories and your experiences aren't a part of what AI naturally scripts for you, okay? When you share your wins, when you share your stories, even the little day-to-day observations, okay, this brings connection. This makes the content yours. And the final step, step 4, is run the friend test. Before you publish it, ask yourself this: if a friend who really, really knew me watched or read this, would they say, yep, that it sounds exactly like you? And if the answer is no, then you need to put a bit more effort back into it, more of yourself back into it, okay? Now, when you follow those 4 steps, AI will be powerful. It's not only going to help you be better, but it will help you be more efficient, okay? The real danger is not that AI is going to replace you as a chiropractor. The danger is that you're going to lose the relationship between you and your practice members. Content has always been about trust, and if your patients are building trust with AI instead of you, that trust won't transfer into conversions and retention when they walk through the door. Now, the good news is it doesn't have to be an either-or situation. AI is a tool to help you brainstorm, to structure ideas, to save you time, but as always, make sure that you're layering in your personality, your stories, and your authentic voice, okay? Because at the end of the day, what really grows a practice and what really is effective marketing isn't just polished content. It's connection. It's authenticity. And if patients feel like they already know you, they will want to stay with you, and no AI will ever be able to replace that. All right, folks, that's it for this episode. As always, thanks for all that you do. Keep saving lives. I look forward to seeing you back here next week. Bye. If you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come and check out my Community Influencer Program. It's my monthly coaching program where we take all this material and I'll work with you to help you apply it, implement it, and systemize it. The Community Influencer Group Coaching Program is designed to help you increase your practice income, impact, and enjoyment. Join me over at anguspyke.com/join. That's anguspyke.com/join. I'd love to see you there.